that's actually based on a true story. And, like we were talking about before, once the lifter realizes there's more bad days than good, once the lifter realizes that you can push through the dark and the dark will make you better, the dark will make you stronger, that lifter will succeed.
Yeah.
And if you can get through that, you'll succeed in weightlifting.
Yeah, yeah. That's, that really resonated with me when I was, because as you know, we've spoken a lot about my ridiculous shoulder problems and so on and so forth have been plaguing me for like 10 years now. And even at your seminar, I caught a snatch bad, and I knew I caught it bad when it was on the way up. It felt bad. I should have bailed on it, and I didn't. And so I caught it a bit funky, and my shoulder played up again, and I literally, I don't know if anyone saw or whatever, but I went outside and I was crying and I was swearing and I was just down on myself, and it got real black, and the funny thing is that,
well, that's why I think that everybody listening right now needs to train at your gym, and you need to go to Unbranded Strength, Unbranded Sports and Preparation, because you truly care about the sport of weightlifting.
Yeah,
you truly care about not only your athletes, but yourself getting better, and I could feel the positive atmosphere in your gym. So I think anybody out in Australia, out in this area right here, Cambridge, right? Canberra.
If
you're not training unbranded, then I don't know what you're doing.
No, that's a big call. Thanks, salute. But no, it's true though. I mean, anyone who's trained with me knows that I'm all about the weightlifting. It's just, and it's not just the bars, but there's the philosophy that goes behind it, the development of the athletes as they progress through what we were talking about, tiers 1, 2, and 3, from brand new through to rookie up to elite. And the way that you have to coach with them and the things that you share with them. And I mean, people who know me, they really know me. I'm an open book with respect to that. Everyone knows I've sort of gone through these things. They know I understand when they say, oh, my shoulder hurts or my hip hurts and it feels real bad. I can't do this. And
here you are, still fighting year after year after year at my seminar. Bad shoulders, not only just ears and eyes open and growing your melting pot, but there you are lifting, going after weights, slamming bars, you couldn't go overhead in the jerk, so what'd you do? You got big clean PRs, and you were even slamming bars in the clean. I love that. You pop it up and slam it. That's emotion, and so I think that's special. Got to push through, baby. Got to push through.
You do. You have to push through. I guess that's the thing, isn't it? You got to find a way around, right? Oh, I can't snatch. So squat. Oh, I can't squat. Deadlift. There's 1,000 things you could do. Ask your coach. Talk to your coach. They'll tell you all about them. There are hundreds of things that you can do to get your way through what it is you're trying to get through. They say you got to train through. Yeah, it's an interesting one, talking injury and stuff like that, we were talking about other athletes and, pro-level athletes and their injuries and how they've seen their way through it, and there's bad news with Kevin Ogar just recently. Ogar, is that right? Mm-hmm. And Ogar. And, weightlifting injury is not very prevalent, statistically. It's just, the most injury-free sport in the world. But then you sort of see some of these injuries that do come through and, you talk to your coaches and talk to other athletes and say, oh, I'm really injured right now. And it's a definition of injury, which is a bit tricky, right? So are you really injured? Are you structurally sound, or are you just sort of sore, which is like a normal sore? Yeah, there's two huge differences. There's differences, I always say you can't listen to your body. The minute you listen to your body, then yes, you will be making love with the devil in the red dress. Yeah.
You got to learn how to turn it off. You got to learn how to pull and go under bars. You got to learn how to have your body to adapt to pain. You have to coach your body and train your body that when you tell it to sit, to sit. When you tell it to pull the bar, to pull the bar. And if you listen to your body all the time, it'll never adapt. It'll never push through. And there's walls in weightlifting, and they hurt, and you can't get through them, right? And if you listen to your body, you'll never break through them. But on another note to that, you do have to be aware of injuries. Like you said, pain, or, like you said, being sore, being tired, being run down, being achy, all of these things are no excuse. That's part of weightlifting, right? How PG is this show?
Probably not very.
Well, because there's a famous story by Ivan Avajev that said, one of his lifters came up and said, Uncle, I can't train today. My elbows hurt, my knees hurt. He says, yes, you're a weightlifter. You will hurt. If you were gay, your asshole would hurt. And so that's a famous story right there, and it's true. You're supposed to be. It's like Dave Spitz from Cal Strength used to tell me, if it feels heavy, John, before I went for a big lift, he goes, it's okay. It's supposed to feel heavy. See, I think there's so many weightlifters that once the weight feels heavy, we panic.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, it's supposed to feel heavy. That's the sport. It's like when your body's in pain and you're tired, you're supposed to be. I mean, I don't remember the last time I ever went into training feeling good and feeling... I mean, I kind of am now because I'm kind of just freestyling training on this trip. Mm-hmm. I'm not really on a scheduled training cycle. When I get back to the States, I'll be training harder than I ever have for the Grand Open in Vegas in January. But
that's going to be awesome.
Going against Ian Wilson. So he's coming out, baby. We're going to have some...
You're going to have to bring your game?
Yeah, I'm going to have to bring that A game. Trying to get Spencer Mormon out there, all the top 105s. Trying to get the 94s out there to show him who's boss, even in a bigger weight class. But pain, you got an injury, you're right. You got to work around it. You got to be smart. There's a big difference between pain and discomfort.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. I keep thinking about peak lifts, right? When I'm going for those really, really big lifts, the biggest that I can deal with on that day, and sometimes I'll use that new word you taught us the other day, right? I'll pick up the snatch, I'll get up, and I'll clark the shit out of it, and for the Australian listeners, that just means you basically deadlift that shit and then let go and then walk off in a huff. So that's, and I honestly...
I love that, in a huff.
In a huff. We huff here in Australia, we huff. And anyone who's lifted with me knows that I have a very big huff. It involves kicking bars and throwing straps and...
Oh, I have tissy fits all the time. You've seen it a few... Even if I can't work the internet, I throw tissy fits. I pout. I'm the biggest pouter ever. I'm just going to openly admit it right now. I throw little 10-year-old tissy fits.
Yeah. Well... Have you ever thrown a shoe? I've thrown a shoe.
No.
I'm not even kidding. I have thrown a shoe. You should
I
try it.
should.
Try it. It's a good one. Hey,
I got to vent somehow. If I never had tissy fits, I'd become just a psycho that just kept things built in.
You get all bottled up.
I did read a study that said people that do throw tissy fits and vent and get, they actually live longer and they're healthier. Because they don't keep it bottled inside.
Yeah. Well, you don't contribute to that internal stress of yours, right? So, that internal stress slows you down. It slows your feet down. It slows your mind down. Slows everything down.
What happened, yeah.
It just slows everything down because you spend all your time investing in the thinking and man, it's just
whoever's not listening to this podcast is missing out right now.
There's been some bombs, hasn't there?
This is great talk right now. That's why I love slamming bars, because I'm letting that emotion out. See, I think that even though I slam a bar after I made the lift, because I slammed the bar and let my emotion out, I then, therefore, the next lift, and that could be the next day, it's going to benefit my lift because I got that emotion out on that lift earlier, if that makes sense. If I kept that emotion in, that might affect next lift.
Look, I think it does.
Right?
It's
this is interesting here.
Yeah. See, I've slammed a lot of bars. Really have.
Don't follow it down.
Oh, well, according to the regulation, I control the bar until it hits my shoulder height. I have both hands on it. And I place it on the platform with a degree of
follow
force.
It down, but don't follow it down with momentum.
Well, yeah.
Try doing that.
Yeah, well, it's hard. I'm a short, angry.
I've been beating this dead horse for too long. So we'll move on. You don't want me to get started on this.
Yeah. I'll take your soapbox away from you, man.
Yes.
Hey, look, we're sort of going to wind up a little bit here, but share with me what I'll share one story, and you share one story, and I want to, and then we'll close it out.
I shared my uncle story about. Not many people have heard that one. That one. That's a famous story.
That one. So I'm going to share the story of this one lifter that I was just starting, and it's probably one of the most vivid moments that sits in my mind when I talk about coaching lifters. Right, is we'd been working for a month and a half, almost 2 months, right? So we're on to week 8 of the program, and she just started snatching, and I'm a little overly cautious, I think, with my new lifters. I want them to be injury free. It's a big thing, to me. And I remember we'd gotten past the black fives, gotten past all the change plates on the snatch, and then we got to the point where we were about to slip on the first set of greens onto that yellow bar, and the look in her eye when she presented to the bar was like this. I'll talk through it. It was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. Oh shit! I'm not going to get this. I can't do this. Oh, it's too heavy. No, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. And then she looks up at me and there's panic. And I just looked at her and she said to me later, she said, when you looked at me panicking and I saw the look on your face, what I saw was confidence that you believed that I could lift it. And then she snatched the shit out of that thing. It was great. First lift. Pinned it right in the hole, bang, caught it. And she didn't stand up. Head was through, and she looked up at me and she goes, is that it? Did I do it?
Yeah. And well, I love that because, it's the first snatch is magical because it's like, you snatched it, you did it.
Yeah.
Now you just got to put more weight on, you'll be in the Olympics.
That's it.
It's easy after that, right? And I love that. You're right, because even to this day, I mean, when I hit my 67 the other day, it's right when it locked, my face was just surprised, because, again, going back to how we've opened the show, your method of the dead eye, and because you don't know where that bar, I mean, you can feel it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You can feel the technique. You can kind of feel if you got a good finish and a good follow through, etc., and a good pull. But at the end of the day, you really don't know where that bar is going to land. Is it going to land right in that money spot? Is it going to land forward or back? Are you going to miss it? Or are you going to make it? You really don't know. You're not 100% sure.
No.
Of course not. So when it does stick, like she did, your athlete did for the first time, or for a PR weight, I think PR weight, first time snatch, very same feeling.
Yeah.
And there's that look on your face like, wow. That just happened.
That just happened.
Somehow this bar got over my head.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, I always say that, the body is doing so much moving. And the bar is really not doing that much moving at all. It's just kind of going up a little bit and then peaking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's your style of technique. But in the catapult method, it peaks and then you just pull under. So, it's like, wow, okay, that just happened. So... but that's a good story, man. I love that emotion. That's why you should always, people always ask me, John, why do you celebrate with lightweight? And I say, because I don't care what's on the bar.
Yeah.
I don't need to celebrate for a PR. I don't need to celebrate if I win a gold medal.
Yeah.
I celebrate because I love weightlifting.
Yeah.
I can take 100 kilos on the bar right now in your gym, unbranded, snatch it, and slam the shit out of it and start yelling Shankle.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do that is because I know it's only 100, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't need your approval, to give me a thumbs up on celebration.
Yeah.
I've conquered a lot in my life. I've gone over a lot of ups and downs. And now I'm a gym rat. I'm part of the Iron family, and I'm celebrating for life.
Yeah.
Not just weightlifting. And so anybody listening right now, celebrate, show emotion. Be excited about lifting, just like your athlete that you were just telling me about did. She was excited when she snatched that weight.
Yeah,
good. Be excited.
Yeah,
you get so many. You get so many negative people in life and in sport, especially in weightlifting. This elitist mentality of, well, if she's not doing a certain percentage of the world total, then why is she so happy kind of philosophy that I'm trying my hardest to kill. And, that